It's time for the Jesse T Show. That's right, man. Super Bowl Sunday coming up here and just a few days away. The 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Who do you think is going to win? All the superstar football players are out in Miami right now participating in Media Day and Media Week. And we have a special guest we're going to talk about. One of the greatest running backs of all time in the NFL, ranked 12th in all-time yardage, over 12,000 yards, Marshall Faulk. We're going to be talking about him in just a second. He's got some special things going on. Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 54. Can you believe it? It's time for the Jesse T Show, the Brown Beauty back on duty. It's me, Jesse T. We had Marshall Faulk on earlier today, but we had some technical problems recording it off of Skype. So we're going to try to catch up with him by the end of the week. Thanking Espada Public Relations for hooking that up for us. Number 12 on the all-time list of top NFL running backs, Hall of Fame, Marshall Faulk checked in with us earlier today, and he has a great program that he's participating in to help families and kids understand about drug abuse. And we'll be talking about that in a second. But first, let's talk about a little bit about the NFL, what's happening this weekend. Of course, Super Bowl Sunday, and there are some great parties all around Super Bowl Sunday at the NFL, and you want to check them out. So I want to give you some great parties you want to go see. If you're in Miami, Florida, it's a good time, man. It's nothing like an NFL Super Bowl weekend. It is really spectacular. It's one of a kind if you ever get a chance to go out and check it out. Let me tell you about a couple of cool parties that are happening right now. The McCountry Twins Beats Bars and Bites. It starts it starts on Thursday, January 30th, just a few days away at TOD's Miami Design District. Now, for those of you on the East Coast right now who are in Miami, good to have you along with us, Jesse T, on the Jesse T Show, as we transcend America and the world and God's blue-green earth from now into eternity. That's right. I sound like Space Bob or something, don't I? But hey, we're letting everybody know we've got a big audience, and we have a lot of people chiming and checking in from all around the country. So it's good to have you along with me. And one of the great parties to go to there in Miami, you might want to check it out, is the 6th Annual Culinary Kickoff. If you like food, at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. That's the day and nightclub in Hollywood, Florida at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, January 30th. So that's another great party. Hey, saying hi to Vanessa Smith, Robert Mazura, Susan Blackie. Thanks a lot for having us on. Really appreciate it. Yeah, this is going to be a terrific time. Vanessa Smith says, hey, Jesse T, going to my Soul Train party tonight. The chef will be there at the Super Bowl on NFL Sunday this weekend, hands down, so it's going to be a good thing. Also, it's a great party, the 19th Annual Players' Wives Fashion Show. Whoo, baby! From 12:30 p.m. on Friday, January 31st at the Miami Design District, Palm Court in Miami, Florida. So you want to check that out. Another great party to go to. I'm giving you the party scene right now on Super Bowl Sunday and the weekend leading up into that, right before we're going to talk about Marshall Faulk and what he's doing it. One of the greatest all-time running backs of all time, Rams, St. Louis Rams, Marshall Faulk. Hey, he won the Super Bowl, two-time Super Bowl participation. Lots of good things. He's got a great great program. I want you guys to stay tuned because I've got some great information to tell you about what he's a part of. The Truth About Drugs campaign sponsored by Drug Free World. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And Marshall Faulk is the spokesperson, and what a great guy. LA born, LA high school, Carver High School. Man, this guy was great. So anyhow, there's another great party in Miami called the Barstool Party Rough and Rowdy Super Bowl II at the RC Cola plant. That's in Miami, Florida as well. Another great party, the Gronk Beach Party. That's right, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, February 1st at the North Beach Band, Shell, and Beach. If you've never been there, it is a good time. Boy, Gronk, Ron Gronkowski, of course, he spends a lot of time out there at the Gronk Beach Party on Super Bowl Sunday, so he's going to be out there hanging out with you guys. And also wheels up the 7th Annual Super Saturday Tailgate at the Wynwood Arts District from 1 p.m. to Saturday, February 1st, out at the Super Bowl Sunday Weekend Party and Bash, and AT&T's Super Saturday Night at the Meridian at the Island Gardens on Saturday, February 1st. Now, you know, no football stars are going to be out there. Of course, the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, it's good to see young quarterbacks. We're kind of having a passing of the guard right now in the NFL from the older quarterbacks that have been there for a lot of years, and now they're kind of passing the baton to these youngsters, and it's going to be an exciting game this Super Bowl Sunday with these young quarterbacks. I predict the San Francisco 49ers are going to win. They just are so bad. And Marshall Faulk, I talked to him earlier on the phone today, and he was telling me that the team that can cover the ground, that can own the line of scrimmage, striking back to, good old rough and tough football, man, in the trenches. He believes the team that can do that will win the ultimate game here in Super Bowl 54. So we'll see. I love that ground game. Hey, another great party, the Sports Illustrated party is happening, and that's happening at the Fontainebleau. Oh, yes, the Fontainebleau, Miami Beach on Saturday, February 1st. Saying hi to Jackie Pagetti. Hey, Jackie, I met you up at the Scorpion Party about 4 or 5 years ago. You and your daughter. It was good to see you still hanging in with us, Jackie. I appreciate that. Hopefully things are going well for you. Paris Hilton's having a big party in Miami with the Rolling Stone Live Party, and that's at Hyde Beach. So if you want to see Paris probably get naked, baby, she's going to be out there. Maxim at Havana Nights, a huge experience, a big game experience at the Reichenbach Causeway on Key Biscayne, Florida at 10 p.m. on Saturday night. So there, you got covered some of the hot parties happening at Super Bowl Sunday and the Super Bowl weekend. I'll be posting that up right now, in fact, on my timeline. So you want to check that out if you're in the Super Bowl area, Miami, Florida, or anything like that. We certainly want you to go down there, have a good time, and you tell me, listen to the Jesse T Show, who brought you the great party information. Now let's talk a little bit about what I want to talk about here, and that's something very dear to Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk. Now, if you don't know who Marshall Faulk is, guys, let me give you a little background on this man. If for the youngsters out there that don't know, one of the greatest Hall of Fame running backs of all time, Marshall Faulk played for the St. Louis Rams. In fact, he was a superstar both in St. Louis and for the Colts at the time. And man, this guy was handpicked out of San Diego State University. He came from Carver High School here in Washington, D.C. And he was handpicked to play for the Indianapolis Colts, which he played for several years. He was the second player overall in the 1994 NFL Draft, and he was an instant star, man. The guy ran for like 143 yards and scored 3 touchdowns in his rookie debut against the Houston Oilers. Then he eclipsed the 100-yard mark again the following week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy was slick like water. I mean, this guy had like butter and oil on him. You could not catch and grab onto this guy. He had some great moves, and he was a great wide receiver, too. Now, there were so many great milestones that he hit as a running back. There are 2 of 4 100-yard rushing days to go with 100-yard-plus receiving game in his rookie season alone. He finished the season with over 1,200 rushing yards. Now, what happened to the running game in the NFL? During his time, Running was the precedent, and then the throwing was where it's at. But now it's a quarterback's game, and of course it's a passing game. But he believes that the O-line is going to determine who's going to win, who can run the ball and get some mileage on the ground. You know what I'm talking about? Anyhow, that first year he caught 52 passes for 522 yards. Now, he rushed for over 1,000 yards in 4 of his first consecutive seasons, while also amassing over 2,800 yards on 297 receptions. So this guy could not only run, Marshall Faulk, but he could catch too. He was a great running back. And what an A-plus guy, man. Top drawer all the way in that respect. Like Kobe Bryant, man. The guy has done so much for his community and gives back so much. And we had a nice discussion about Kobe. And one of the things that he remembered so well about Kobe, both, of course, coming out of Los Angeles here, is that Kobe's fire to burn. And he talked a little bit about that. And unfortunately, though, we couldn't bring you that interview live this morning because we had some technical difficulties with Skype. But I fixed it up so it all works. So, hey, what can I tell you? It's just me, Jesse T, making it happen. You know, we get down dirty, real, nitty, and gritty. I hide nothing. It happens live. And sometimes, things go perfect. And sometimes we have a little snafu. Situation normal, all followed up. But we are doing a little something special here for this foundation that he's a part of. He played with the St. Louis Rams. He was traded off to the St. Louis Rams in 1999 in exchange for multiple players. And then he became the second player in NFL history to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark in both rushing and receiving, and set the then record for yards for over 2,400 yards from the line of scrimmage. He was named NFL Offensive Player of the Year. The guy was the most valuable player honors in the NFL the following year, and after he set the single-season record for touchdowns with 26. Can you imagine running for 26 touchdowns in 1 year? I mean, that is burning, baby. You are cutting some grass. And that's when there was real grass and not the turf. So this guy was so fast. Can you imagine playing on turf? But that was in real grass when he came up. He had 18 rushing touchdowns that year, and he ended up, of course, making the All-Pro teams in 1999, 2000, 2001, and was second All-Pro selection 94, 95, and 98. And during his career, he went to 7 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowls, won the Super Bowl, first Super Bowl game that he was in. They won. Of course, that's when Kurt Warner was the quarterback of the St. Louis Rams. And he amassed over 12,279 yards between 1990, during his career, 12,279 rushing yards, and over 6,800 passing yards, for a total of over 19,154 yards amassed, and inducted into the Hall of Fame after a 12-year career. 176 games he played in. Isn't that amazing? 12 years. Unbelievable. Marshall Faulk, what a great athlete he was. And off the field, in his second half of his life, he has done some tremendous things. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that and do a little special program on what he's doing here. You can go to our websites and check out something that he's participating in, and it's called the Truth About Drugs campaign, sponsored by Drug Free World. Now, what you can do is you can go, while you're watching the show, onto this website. I'm going to give it to you, and I'm going to be posting it up. It's drugfreeworld.org /MF for Marshall Faulk. Okay, that's drugfreeworld.org /MF for Marshall Faulk. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the Drug Free World organization. Do you know, folks, I don't know if you know this, but there's so many drugs coming across the border and so many drugs being made here now that our youth are just being destroyed. More people die of fentanyl and methamphetamines and opiates now than any other form of death amongst the youth. Is that amazing? I mean, it is escalating exponentially. And the thing is that so many parents don't know how to see, how to recognize, how to notice these things happening in their children. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to reach out and make that bridge, cross that bridge to be able to talk about this. And in fact, because of the internet and because of the way the young people act today, being not on drugs is like uncool. Is that amazing to even think about that? I mean, even vaping, they're finding it's destroying lungs and turning young people into just zombies, and in many cases killing them. Vaping, I remember when I first started that, I said, man, hey, your lungs are made for air, not anything else. You aren't supposed to ingest anything else in these God-given lungs, just air. That's what they're made for. And vaping, ingesting any kind of smoke or vapor, I knew it was going to happen, and it's happened in the last couple, 2 or 3 years. That's a drug habit, and it's hard to kick because a lot of that stuff is laced with nicotine. But nevertheless, I'm saying that also about controlled marijuana, recreational marijuana. I'm telling you, folks, 10 years from now, you're going to see what's going to happen or what is happening to our young people under these controlled substances of medical marijuana and recreational marijuana breaking across the nation. And I don't care if it's a natural herb or not. You're ingesting smoke into your lungs. That's what I'm talking about. And there's a big drug habit in this society today, not only the opiate habit, but also Marshall was relating to me earlier today. He was talking about the fact that a lot of houses, prescription drugs in the medicine cabinet at the house, across-the-counter drugs that they're mixing with all kinds of things. The young people today are really at risk, and this stuff is toxic. It fries your brain. It kills you. It's not like when they were doing drugs when I was a kid. Now, it was different, and how it was different was, that there was a small select of people doing it, and the drugs didn't kill you unless you really overdosed on stuff. But now you can take one little hit or one little something from one of these exotic drugs, and you can be ruined for life. And that's a horrible thing, to be ruined for life at such a young age. I mean, if you think about Kobe Bryant and all the people that passed away on that helicopter, the kids that died, his daughter and her teammates, and the whole family died, a mom, dad, and a child. I mean, life can be taken away so quickly, and young people just getting started, they don't even know what is right or wrong or good or bad. And because of the technology today and the internet, it provides such an opportunity to reach out and affect other people. And our young people today are getting coerced into doing things that they wouldn't necessarily do if they didn't have this aspect of technology and communication. That's right. You just got to say no. Got to say no to drugs. Don't take anything. Well, Marshall Faulk, one of the greatest running backs of all time in the history, number 12 on the all-time running list in the NFL history. This guy is really taking the bull by the horns and is really running with this. And he joined up with this organization called the Truth About Drugs Campaign, sponsored by Drug Free World. And you can check them out at drugfreeworld.com/MF. And what you want to do is you want to get involved here. Parents, this is directly for you, and teachers and pastors and priests. This is for you, and organizers where there's a lot of youth. This is something for you to really be thinking about and participating in, because believe it or not, children look up to adults as leaderships and mentorships. And if we don't lead and mentor the right way, they can go astray. And kids will find leaders out there. Maybe if they won't earn their families, they're going to find them in gangs. They're going to find them in drugs. They're going to find them in alcohol. They're going to find them amongst their peer group who don't know anything anyway because they're so young. So we have to really understand how to relate and communicate with our kids. And it's one of the things that I like about what Marshall Faulk is doing. He's joined up with this organization, the Drug Free World, and I'm going to give you their website again because it's important. I'm pounding it right now because I think it's very important. I'm the Coalition Against Human Trafficking, caught here in Los Angeles, and one of the things we see with human traffickers, they terribly kidnap and abduct these young people, and then they beat them up, and they intimidate them, and they scare them, and then they turn them into drug addicts. That's how they control them. So that's Drug Free World. .org / Marshall Faulk. Now, check it out. This is the largest non-governmental anti-drug organization in the world, okay? Information and prevention programs. They have programs, Marshall was telling me, that teachers and pastors and leaders of youth can get involved with these things and learn how to recognize and teach and guide and help. The other thing, 118 million anti-drug education booklets have been distributed. 118 million. It's free too. You can get in touch with this organization and get this material for your school, for your church, for your rec center, for your Boy Scouts, your Girl Scouts, for your athletic clubs, for your sports teams, for everything like that. 196 countries. It's in 22 different languages, okay? And at Super Bowl 54, they're going to be distributing 750,000 booklets at Super Bowl 54. And that's why Marshall's out there. He's really representing this hardcore. And we want to back him on this because we believe that our youth are at great risk today, not just because of the drugs, but because of human trafficking, because of poor education, because of poor leadership, because of the robbing of our innocence and the robbing of our youth, the robbing of our clean souls. So we like to get involved with organizations like this. And so I want you to really check this out. It's very, very important. And it's very important that you see what's happening with the youth of America and you participate. And we really appreciate Marshall Faulk for checking in. Hopefully we're going to get him back on the Jesse T Show, maybe sometime later this week if we can squeeze 5 or 10 minutes there from him. But he just was terrific. He came on, talked about this, expressed some very great sympathies for the Kobe Bryant's family and the others that passed away in that horrendous, just lightning strike of a disaster over the last couple of days with Kobe Bryant. I never met the guy. I've met other folks like Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Elgin Baylor. I've met a good fair share. AC Green, Byron Scott. I've met a good fair share of basketball players over my years. Never had the opportunity to meet Kobe Bryant. But for what I understand of those that were close to him and did meet him or worked in his organizations, he was a straight shooter right from the heart, and he was a good man, a good family man, and a man who believed in God, and also a man who tried to help his community very much by giving away millions and millions of dollars and having set up organizations through his investment firms and stuff. The guy was just wonderful. So Marshall and him knew each other, and he expressed some very, very wonderful feelings about that as well. I tried to get him to kind of pinpoint to who's going to win the game, and he kind of was neutral on that, but he said, I think the team in red is going to win. Which one could that possibly be? Which one can that possibly be? I tell you, you never know. You never know. I think the Niners are going to win. That's for sure. I think the 49ers are going to be the team that's going to pull it out. I just love that young quarterback. He is so special and so fantastic. The guy is unbelievable. I mean, he's the new generation. You know, he is the next coming. Brady's career is starting to wind down now, and I believe this guy he's the next one. If he can stay injury free, running around and jumping through the air like he does, like a gazelle, and that can play a toll on your body in the NFL. But both quarterbacks for both teams are young and strong, and that's what's happening. We're seeing a transition now in the quarterbacking from a little older vanguard to these youngsters out there. So it's going to be exciting, and I hope we see a transition back to more of a running game too. But it's an air game now. It's a quarterback's throwing game, and but I sure like the run, and I sure appreciate Marshall Faulk for checking in with us today, and I really thank Espada Public Relations, Jasmine and Camille. You guys are #1 first class, and we really appreciate what you do with some great clients, and you help us out with the Jesse T Show. in that respect. Anyway, I just wanted to leave you with this thought. Hey, of course, NFL Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 54. Go 49ers! Boom! The Brown Beauty is off duty. This is Jesse T. See ya! And don't forget, let's stop and help kids get off of those terrible drugs at drugfreeworld.org.